we'd like to welcome you to the garage.
Hey.
You know,
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The one that
ain't booming, what you doing?
Hey, yo, I'm in another category. By myself, they had to add it for me. Tell you not an option. Respect is mandatory. Get the last dance, stand in glory. Do they remember Jordan? They don't care what's on the hand of Ori. Ain't sorry. Hope I make you feel uncomfortable. Imagine how it feel if I feel like I gotta come for you.
I started off actually just kind of like rapping as a joke for real. Really, I started doing poetry. And a lot of my music, I always tell people, is like adaptations of my poetry. So back in the day, I used to just write little joke poems, and then they kind of turned into being raps as I went on doing that. If everybody remember the Talk Girl system from Home Alone, I had one of those. So I would record myself rapping over and over again, blanking out all my mama tapes, sticking a little tissue in there and recording over all my mama tapes. So I would take the stereo and play instrumentals. You know, back in the day when you buy a single tape, the instrumental be on the back. So I would take the instrumental, play it on the stereo, take my Talk Boy and just rap over him. And I had to get good, you know, with remembering that stuff because
you had one take.
I only had one. You know, basically you got one take. It ain't no, I mean, you could stop and start stuff with the little recorder, but for the most part, you had to kind of get it out. So usually when I go to the studio, there's one thing I ain't mastered yet is punching in, because where I come from, I always had to do everything in one take and get it out in one take.
So you be doing 16 straight through?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's real hard for me to be like, I'm trying to get to the point where I can finesse it and be like, oh, it'd be better if I break right here. But just the way that I write it and the way that it is in my head, it's hard for me to stop, because I'm used to having to go through it all the way through. But I started doing that. I would pass the tapes out to my friends. And so back then it was just like joke stuff. Like I would make a joke about anything, so I would be playing with it for real, and then it was like punch. It was just like I'll make up songs like I would remix songs and make them jokes, like sitting up in my room. Like I had one where I kept finding spoons in my room. You know how kids is, always got dishes and stuff, so I had like mixed stuff like that. Everybody get your grill bone. You know, instead of everybody get your roll on, little stuff like that, I would just take the real song, remix it.
So you was like a kid.
Yeah, like a kid. Yeah. changing the lyrics and sort of kind of keeping some of that same flow, but changing the lyrics and just try to be funny, make my friends laugh. Then it started, you know, as you get older, you got most of the time, which was older people that wanted to like challenge me, or you know. You find yourself kind of going back and forth with people unintentionally. Battles? Or? Not necessarily. Well, okay, so one of the things that I ended up getting into back in the day was I would, you know, we had pagers. So I would record like raps about like flips of my name and just different little stuff on my message. And so people would call to my pager every week, because I would change the rap every Friday. And then people from cross town, people that I didn't even know, start taking my raps off my little messenger, off the little recording thing. So that's kind of how I ended up with some of my first beefs, was people taking my raps, and like they was older than me, so they really had like more access and, you know, a little more emotion around the city. But I'm like, hey, you basically took my whole rap, what, you know what I'm saying? But you changed it.
Rapping, like,
it was like, man, one of the people that I can't forget. Some of the people I have forgotten over the years, but one person that I never forget, it was a female rapper. Her name was Lady Pyru. She was a blood. She was older than me. Yeah. And she was taking my stuff, and I still ain't never really met her to this day. We just went back and forth on voicemails. Yeah. So I started putting my name in all my raps, or making it, writing it in such a way that couldn't nobody really steal it, or keep changing my flows and, you know, stuff like that, like, so that it was personalized.
Yeah, because it was like, so what you was basically saying, she was bigger than you.
She was older than me. She was in high school when I was like.
But she was doing music.
She was. I think she was doing music. I basically somebody hit me on to a recording where she was like doing the same thing, but it was my rap. And so she's supposed to be going to the studio and dealing with dudes. I want to say she was from the Manor, and they used to have like rap groups back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was stealing my stuff. It was a couple different people that ended up taking my stuff back then. So I started to get real personal with my writing, making sure that I threw my name in there, which I done changed my stage name several times since I was a youth. But I used to make sure that I put something in there that identified myself after that. After learning, people would just jack your stuff, like, back in the day.
Yeah, that's a great idea to get some fans, but that, it could have been the person that's stealing it that's listening.
So I had stuff like that happen, and then going forward, I was in a lot of trouble when I was a teenager. So my mom really was trying to like put me in different programs, stuff to keep me out of trouble. So I was in SET, Self-Expression Teen Theater. Shout out to Washington Muhammad. So I was in SET, and I had, they saw that I had a knack for writing what we used to call intro raps back then. So everybody would come up and spit something about themselves, and then go back, and then so on and so forth. So some of the kids would come and they wouldn't really really be able to write them, or really maybe not up to the level that we was at, because some of us was more seasoned back in the day. So I would write some of the other kids intro raps, had that going on. Then I got into Mad Poet Society. These two programs, I would say, gave me some of my stage presence, sort of having adult mentors that really like want you to perfect your craft, and teach you more and more about the game, about hip hop, about just being getting that overall season as an artist.
Yeah.
So I use those two programs as far as like stage presence and being able to enunciate and making sure that people are able to hear me clearly, be able to clarify my words. And so I think those two things sort of help set me apart as an artist.
It's just good practice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when did you meet the Boom Click?
Well, let me see. Boom Click. Shout out to Boom Click, man. I'm Boom Chic now. So the funny thing is, all of us have been artists for years. They had Boom Click way before I came into the. Man, I want to say they 10 years strong. At least they 10 years strong with Boom Click. Before that, I knew T Diamond from doing like open mics and stuff back in the day when we was younger. Young Chuck used to do the beats for the Mud Massacre with Eddie Bauer. So I knew them all kind of in different circles. At a point in time, I went to school with Untouchable. So I knew them all from sort of different realms, and we just kind of linked up, and it's all love. They pushing me, and sometimes I feel like male artists can be sort of intimidated by female rappers that's have a dominant personality like myself. But these particular guys, they like, oh no, she good, we want you with us. So instead of trying to shun me, in a way that some people have, they really more embrace me, and they've been turning me up for real. Yeah, they've been turning me up. Cause I shy away every now and again and be like, I don't really like what's going on with the music scene or whatever, or the state of hip hop, or the state of music period, and I'll just kind of take little breaks and kind of fall back, from doing work. But they like, no, we gotta push. Them guys is always on go, so they dropping project after project and song after song, video after video. We got Young Chuck shooting videos and everything. So I kind of say they kind of pushing me right now, keeping me going.
I can understand that. It just seemed like y'all would have different backgrounds and to meet up and.
We all do sort of have different backgrounds. I mean, I know T Diamond there was a group that I used to look up to back in the day called the Undergods. And so UGE was what some of them was named. And he was in that circle, like way back when we was like younger. Yeah. So Young Chuck, man, I had if anybody remember Chris Siege, I had bought a beat from Chris Siege, and I come to find out Young Chuck had the same beat. So we ended up doing a collab, and that's been
on the beat.
On the same, he already had a verse. I already had a verse. So we ended up putting our stuff together, and it was like an unintentional collab because we had both bought the same beat from Chris Siege. So yeah, Chris Siege, man, he was double dipping. So yeah, that's been over 10 years. Yeah, because it's 2023. That's been well over 10 years now since we did that unintentional collab. Yeah. So that song is out there somewhere on a Hood Stock.
One of them
Hood Stock discs. Yep. I don't think neither one of us ever used it outside of that. It ended up on a Hood Stock.
So when did you become like, what name do you go by now?
Well, right now it's She Speaks. I mean, this is sort of a different moniker, you know, Boom Chick. I ain't changed my name. It's just it's really just something that happened. We performing and they like, oh, you boom click. If they boom click, you boom chick. Like, you know, it's just something that somebody said one day, and it was you know, I thought it was fire, so we just went with it. Man, let me turn this off. I thought I turned it down, but man. So we just kind of went with it. Matter of fact, I think the first person that said it was Sonny Whitfield. He was a homeboy of mine, somebody I grew up with, Kaiser, McTighe. And so he spit, and I got a lot of respect for him and his artistry, and you know, he know how I am. So he like, yeah, I like seeing you with them. You know, it was a good fit, and he the one that started calling me Boom Chick, and it cut up, and it caught on. And then they start saying it, you know, at the shows and stuff. So now we done turned it into a brand.
Yeah.
And now with the Boom Chick thing, I'm really trying to promote it more for sort of women's empowerment, because I don't like some of the distasteful, you know, music right now, which, you know, it's always gonna happen, but it's not for me, you know. So I feel like I see women that are, you know, raising their kids, running businesses, you know, some are CEOs, they coming out graduating top of their class, you know. I feel like we got more to say and more to talk about as far as empowering women, and it's not catching in the music. So I want to be able to promote you know, women that's really doing their thing outside of music. But like, I see a lot of women that's, you know, that's running businesses simultaneously while they running their families, and I think that's a big deal. So we say booming. I want all females that's doing something to say Boom Chick and be Boom Chick.
Yeah, it fit.
It's catching on. Like, I think that it's something that is not so, you know, like I got a logo that just got my face and my name on it. And I have people that are happy to rock that, but at the same time, you know, that's me. You know, that's me. When you see that face, you know that's me, and I appreciate the promotion behind that. But I feel like Boom Chick is more something that, you know, that more females can get into and be proud of and be saying. And so I got an anthem for that coming soon, video for that coming soon, you know, expansion with the colors and everything, and you know, we gonna do some things. It's out, you know, we got merch on Amazon, you know, we doing it big now, we booming.
With the music that's going on now, do you believe in industry plants?
Whew. Industry plants are real, y'all. Industry plants are real. Like, honestly, like I said this the other day, I feel like some of what is going on in the industry right now, it feel like satire. It feel like they trolling us. It feel like, it feel like a cruel joke. It feel like they really just playing to see how much ignorance they can shove down our damn throat. How much are we willing to take and digest, and how it's another way to destroy the household, to destroy the family. One of the things that I don't like about the female music right now is the promotion of unprotected sex, the destruction of the family, destruction of the black family, specifically because white folk, they not listening to, to this stuff. If they get maybe a snippet off of something that we did on a TikTok, but for the most part, they not listening to the stuff that's really poisoning our community. They don't live in our community. They not affected by, the violence and, everything else. They not affected. Like one of the things that they keep talking about, plan B, I'll kill your baby, I ain't getting trapped or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should have, go out, have unprotected sex and raise a, illegitimate child because whatever reason, you got women's right to choose. I'm all for that. But I'm saying, like, let's not promote having unprotected sex just because you can go get a plan B. Or just because, you feel empowered to get an abortion. If you do get an abortion, let that be your last resort. Not because you was out here willy-nilly, just doing whatever. People not looking at the STD rates. They rising. They always rising. So I just feel like that's poison for our people. It ain't for nobody else.
I believe in industry plans. I think they done found the way to push the narrative. Yep. And then, like, I heard something that was so crazy. And it was some big company, and all they said is, all we got to do is create doubt. And that's what they did. Yeah, they put people out here to promote agendas, and unfortunately, it's so silly that the way that they do it, that you would believe, oh no, that they can't be doing that, but no, they really are. They just making it like they laughing at us. Yeah.
It's really a joke. It's really a joke. Even with like the whole Blueface and Krishan thing, like that, promoting the way that they interact with each other, that's promotion of DV. Now she done split from him, and it's like
made another.
He done. Come on now, they planning this. Like, you can literally almost see what the next thing that they gonna do. And I'm not saying like Blueface was an industry plan, but I'm saying that the marketing scheme that they going for, you can almost spell it out exactly what they what they doing. So even colorism, I bet you ain't gonna see him with no dark skin chick.
That's true.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't listen to a lot of industry music right now. I dabble in some of the stuff that like my students or my kids tell me that I should listen to. That's like fire. But for the most part, I'm not a Bad Girls Club watching type. I see the ignorance in that, and I don't partake.
Yeah, I had to come to a realization of that too. Well, one day I was watching it and it just clicked in. Like, these are modern day soap operas.
Yeah, well, see, that it is, but see, so perfect way to say it though. Soap operas are scripted, and what they call reality TV for us, it's all scripted. It's like they trying to create issues amongst the cast members just because the world loves drama. We love drama, and I say we just, as a blanket for everybody, not myself personally, but I think the world loves drama. And so if they can figure out a way to draw you into some drama, then it'd be the next problem and the next problem and the next fight and the next fight and the next beef.
It never ends.
It never ends.
Then they bring on the fresh cast of new young people.
And that's why, man, they look at us and they got, oh, you got this angry black woman narrative, and you know the baby daddy, the baby daddy baby mama syndromes, and it's like they got us all focused on, you know, buying up the brands that they selling to us. They got us buying all they stuff, and I, you know, and don't get me wrong when I say they, my white friends know how I feel about this, and I love them too, because some of my biggest supporters are not black.
Well, when I say the black community, when you say they, the black community feed one to kill a million.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's a whole different thing. So when a black person get into power, you can imagine what's going to happen. It's all types of them. It's Wayne Brady. You know, look, that he pushing the narrative.
Yeah.
Like what the thing that he just came out. No one needed to know.
Yeah, no.
Everyone had speculation, but nobody needed
stuff
to know.
like that be crazy to me, because I'm like, did you really think that we looked at you for all these years and didn't know, sir?
Yeah.
Like the Brat. Like, I felt like that was so pointless when the Brat came out. Like, come on, baby, we knew that you was gay.
We still was watching you.
We didn't care. You know, we don't care.
But now I feel like it's scripted.
But it's a headline. It's all for a headline. Like, and if you can create an issue for somebody to either, you could say the most negative thing and people will attach to your, you know, to your status, your post, your reel or whatever. But if you say something to piss somebody off, a big enough group of people, you say something to piss somebody off, you can almost bet that you're gonna go viral. Yeah. You can almost bet. What's the old girl name from Friday? The one who played Joy.
Alicia?
No, the one who.
Oh no, you ain't talking about the cast.
Not Felicia. She played. Her name was Joy.
The girl that's with Dwayne Wade.
No. I can't even think of her name. Oh, girl, you could look this up. I'll look her name up. Okay. But she got on there and said something about Cassie. And basically victim shaming Cassie. Like, I don't know where this girl been for all these years. I couldn't tell you when the last time she had a headline. She was the one that, you know, who the fuck you go to the show with last night? Hood rat, who's your mama? Okay. Yeah. I can't think of her name. But she in the headlines right now because of something that she said about Cassie. So if you speak negatively about a current event or something that's trending at the moment, if you say something bad, you say something to piss people off, then you automatically gonna be that next headline. I don't know if she got a movie coming out or what the hell she just did that for, but she on there, you know, victim shaming. So now she on TMZ, you know, and that's marketing. And that's one of the things that I see about Blueface and Krishan. The dude, he's a marketing genius. He know how to stay in the headlines. He know how to stay trending.
Oh, he got people behind him.
Yeah.
Whack 100, you know, the headline king.
Ain't making no music. He ain't really making no songs, but he's now a personality. He's more of a personality.
Now, with that being said, what you see that's going on in the industry, that it's really not about the music, you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
Wait, a better question. We had Keep Success on, and he said the industry is dead.
It is. I feel like it is. I feel like rather than breaking in the industry, I would rather have a dedicated fan base of, you know, if it was just 1,000 people, which there may be more, but if it was just 1,000 people, if you have just a dedicated fan base, if you have just a group of people that love you, you can stay underground and maintain, because the industry got to the point where they really raping us. We not making no money off streams. You know, it's literally pennies on the dollar. Like, it's barely a penny on the dollar.
What's the biggest stream check you done had?
Like I would tell you, and this I would tell any artist this, honestly, you can make more money off of branding yourself and pushing your merchandise than you gonna make off of streams. Because if you give me, and this is not even the amount. If it was a nickel off of every dollar, you know, that I sold a single, and it's not that much for streams. It's not.
No, I know, cause like my biggest check was I think like $14. You know,
man, okay, so it's more than that. It was more than that. But what I'm saying is, you know, if I sell my merchandise in bulk, or even if somebody's taking a percentage out of it, if you know, if something is $30 and I made 20 off of it and flipped it into, you know, because I used to, you know, I see.
Well, the reason I asked you that is because what the game then did is they took away our CDs, $10 a piece, the instant money, and then they resorted to streams.
Yeah, so I do still see the value in hand-to-hand grassroots connection, but a lot of people don't have CD players, you know, anymore. So, I mean, you got websites like Bandcamp where you can take and get the majority of your profits, but for the most part, I think the money, as far as the way that the industry's set up now, the money is not even so much in the music. You make the music because you love it, and you make the music to connect to your artist. If you really love, you know, if you really love music, you're gonna make music anyway. Yeah. But the money comes from when you are branding and you have become a persona, you have something that you can sell. So you got people that want to see you on podcasts, and you got people that want to, you know, pay you to come to events, just to be a noticeable face in the crowd. When you become notable in that way, that's where your money is gonna come from. Performances and performance royalties, and like I say, branding with your merchandise and stuff like that you can really get more out of than waiting on somebody else to pay you.
Yeah.